Polly and the Screen Time Overload by Betsy Childs Howard. Illustrated by Samara Hardy. All things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful, but not all things build up. 1 Corinthians 10:23. It happened during the last week of July, Polly's favorite week of the year. Ever since she could remember, Polly had spent the week of her birthday on her grandparents' farm. Polly lived in the city where children don't go outside without a grown-up. Her only pet was a fish. But on the farm, there were 28 chickens, 5 pigs, 3 cows, and a horse named Mustard. Even better, there were cousins. They lived on the farm in the house next to Gammy and Gamps, and when she visited, Polly played with them from morning to night. Polly couldn't wait to gather eggs with Gammy in the morning before breakfast. She couldn't wait to help Gamps milk the cows and throw scraps to the pigs. She would ride Mustard to the blueberry patch where she would eat her fill of blueberries. Then she would run next door to invite her cousins to play in the barn. On the first day of the last week of July, Polly's mother came in to wake her, but Polly was already dressed and sitting on her freshly made bed. Her suitcase was packed. She was ready to go to the farm. When Polly and her mother arrived, Gammy and Gamps ran out to welcome her. "Happy birthday, Polly!" they cried as they gave her big hugs. "We have a surprise for you." Polly raced into the kitchen where she found a chocolate birthday cake and a present with her name on it. "The present is from your Aunt Patty," said Gammy. "She mailed it to us because she knew you were coming to visit." Aunt Patty didn't have children, and she always sent the very best presents. Gammy cut a piece of cake for Polly and her mother while Polly opened the gift. She couldn't believe her eyes. Aunt Patty had bought Polly her very own iTab. Just what she had always wanted. Before Polly's mother drove away in her car, she gave Polly a hug and said, "Don't spend too much time on that iTab. You only have a week on the farm, and you don't want to waste it on a screen." Polly nodded even though she wasn't paying attention. She was thinking about all the games kids talked about at school, games she could now play on her iTab. Polly spent the rest of her birthday downloading games. Her cousins Rob and Paige came over and watched her, but it's not very interesting to watch someone else use an iTab. After a while, they got bored and went home. During dinner, Polly used her iTab to show her grandparents videos of horses doing silly things. Meanwhile, Mustard was in the barn, but Polly never thought of going out to see him. After dinner, Gamps asked Polly if she wanted to go with him to feed table scraps to the pigs. Polly was busy playing an iTab game, one where you throw tomatoes at cats, so she said, "No thanks." That night, after Gammy tucked her in, Polly turned on her iTab under the covers and stayed up late watching a cartoon about talking cupcakes. The next morning, Gammy tried to wake her when she went to gather the eggs, but Polly just yawned and said, "Go ahead without me." Tired from her late night, she could barely stay awake during breakfast. But afterward, when she turned on her iTab, she suddenly felt wide awake. Polly barely looked up from the screen when Rob and Paige came in to see if she wanted to help them build a fort in the barn. "No thanks," said Polly. "I'm building a castle in this cool program on my iTab." For the rest of the day, Polly played and watched and laughed, but she did it all alone on her iTab. She didn't go outside and she didn't help around the farm. She didn't talk to Gammy or Gamps. She just looked at her iTab. And then, midway through the afternoon, the screen went black. Polly knew what to do. She ran to her room, found the charger, and plugged it in. Watching a dead iTab charge is not very interesting, so she left it in the room and went outside. She found Gamps in the barn feeding Mustard. Mustard perked right up when he saw Polly, and he nuzzled her shoulder. She picked up a brush and began to brush his coat. "Hey there, sweetie pie. I'm glad to see you out of the house," Gamps said to Polly. "It made me sad to see you missing out on playing with your cousins." "I really love my iTab," said Polly. "It's not wrong to play on my iTab." Gamps thought for a minute. No, it's not wrong. But sometimes things that are good can make us miss out on something even better. God has given us many good gifts, but He says we can only truly enjoy them when they don't take over our lives. Gamps handed Polly a lump of sugar to feed Mustard. Mustard loves sugar, but if he ate only sugar, he wouldn't eat this good grain that will keep him healthy. You love your iTab, but if you play on it all day, you'll miss out on lots of other things that are good for little girls, like helping around the farm and playing with your cousins. Polly didn't say anything, but she left the stable and walked to the other side of the barn. She thought she might find her cousins there, but she didn't see them. She felt sad. Then she heard voices. "Hello?" she called out. "Polly, is that you?" she heard her cousin Rob say. "In here." Polly noticed a small opening in the bales of hay and crawled through it to find her cousins on the other side. "Welcome to our hideout." The hay fort was just like a room with 4 walls, though they were made of hay bales. Rob and Paige were busy making a secret passage that would lead to another room. "Gamps gave us permission," Paige said. Polly spent the next hour working with Rob and Paige on the fort. She didn't even think once about her iTab, and before she knew it, she heard Gammy ringing the dinner bell. "You better get home," Rob said. "Want to help us tomorrow, first thing after breakfast?" "You bet," said Polly. All through dinner with Gammy and Gamps, Polly talked about the fort. Gamps told her about the hay bale fort he had built with his brothers when he was young. Unlike Rob and Paige, Gamps and his brothers did not have permission and got in big trouble. After dinner, Polly went with Gamps to feed the pigs. "Gamps," she asked, "do you think it would hurt Aunt Patty's feelings if I put my iTab away for the rest of my time here? I don't want to miss out on all the really fun things because I'm stuck in front of a screen." "I think that would be a very wise idea, Sweetie Pie," he said. "I'm sure Aunt Patty would want you to enjoy the farm. And when you get home, your mom can help you figure out a plan for how to enjoy your iTab some of the time, rather than all of the time." The iTab stayed in Polly's room for the rest of the week. But Polly didn't. She spent the rest of the week riding Mustard, gathering eggs, picking blueberries, and playing with her cousins. The end.